Hello?
Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
I
I
can
can
see
see it in your eyes. And then that's where I forgot the
in your
word.
smile. All I ever wanted was you.
Anyways, guys, you know what you guys don't want? You guys don't want us. So there you go. And I don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
we know what y'all really want. Y'all want that Coleman, you want that Martin special.
I can't wait to see what they did earlier today. Did he drink some beer or something? No, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You're with us right now, okay? And we're going to be talking about things that are way more interesting, maybe, probably, than that. I don't know. Let's see.
As I finish my apple juice like a real man.
Exactly. Damn straight. We get our vitamin C's up in this fucking piece, all right? But anyways,
Vitamin
guys.
C's, D's, P's, A's, and Q's, goddammit.
By the way, how many vitamins do you actually know comes from certain places and what they do to you? Like, do you know a lot about vitamins or no?
I only know a handful of them. Like, I know B12 comes from certain dairy products. I know that you get protein from, like, meat products, as well as certain, like, breads that have, like, quite a, like, seeds and shit in there that do have proteins. But honestly, anything you eat today, most modern foods, even if you eat, like, the most garbage shit, you actually are getting your full nutrition. The problem is we're over-nutrition ourselves.
Well, here's the thing. Not to interrupt or anything, but the reason why I asked that, I just want to do a quick test because I could see that you're about to go on like a long thing, and instantly the first thing you said was B12 we get from dairy products, and right away I wanted to argue that, but I'm like, I'm not gonna pull an Allen. I'm gonna do some research first, and then I'll get back to you, and I did, and it's from everything but.
No, you get it from cheese.
Okay, I thought vitamin D is where you get the dairy products from.
No, you do get vitamin D, but some cheeses and stuff, they have vitamin B12 in there.
Okay, all right. Hey, you know what? I will believe you for now, but I will say that was a pretty funny fucking beginning. That like, yo, we got B12 from like dairy. I was like, oh my god, this is wonderful. But
Hey,
anyways,
Mr. Science Man here. I'm gonna go off. You know what? Fucking irradium's in the water supply, y'all. I mean, especially if you're in Florida.
wait, uranium?
Yeah, that's a radiated isotope that can cause cancer.
Really quick though, can you see the screen? Because is Roxy saying?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, Roxy, but yeah, like it's one of the first things I try to put on there.
I
but...
can see it now.
Must have been slow coming up.
Okay. Yeah. Well then.
I'm not saying gas fucks up.
Yeah, goddamn piece of shit over there, motherfucking Google Meet. I can't stand you, son of a bitch. But anyways, here's the thing though. Before we continue on, Roxy, how are you doing right now?
I'm doing pretty good. I went on a nice 5-mile walk, and it was nice to just clear my mind.
Well, that's very good. I'm glad that you were able to do that. That seems pretty cool. Blazier Michael saying, what is up with you all? I don't know. I think this thing kind of fucked up. Let me see. I'm going to stretch this window out. Streamlabs, by the way, and you guys got to keep this in mind when it comes to Corey's stream, but it's fucking up quite a bit right now. So, who knows if he's able to show the chat or if it's going to be, like, updating with the alerts or whatever, but mine has fucked up 3 times today, and I only streamed just right now, so I don't know what the fucking deal is. Marissa saying, to be honest, I thought DT would review the new Neil Berger movie of Voyagers. Eesh, no, fuck that. Ryan says, show the Chad. No, we're not going to show the Chad. But there's a movie called, or a show called Chad, and people seem to be liking it, so I don't know what's going on with that stuff. Which got Chris Air says, what crappy movie are y'all going to be subjecting yourselves to today? And that's going to be good old 2006's Stay Alive. Stay Alive. Dude, by the way, when I looked this up, I kept on clicking on Staying Alive. And apparently that's a movie with John Travolta, and like the whole movie's kind of based on that song, like staying alive, the whole fucking thing.
Staying alive.
Yeah. Do you like that song?
I do. That shit was a fucking bop. My favorite is in the movie where he does that walk in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows how to fucking recreate that walk when he first gets into the club.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those iconic walks. You know what I mean? Chris saying the airplane song. No, I don't know. I mean, that could be it. I don't know, dude. But like,
I never watch a lot of those old comedies. I can't really stand them. Like after I try to watch Spaceballs again, I learned personally that a lot of these movies kind of were a sign of their time and kind of the humor of the time. So I'm not going to try to like really enjoy it too much. And like again, like a lot of the comedy back then was like juvenile humor, because juvenile humor wasn't like allowed on television. So if you made jokes like they're for 12-year-olds, you were quote unquote revolutionary in comedy. Mm-hmm. But like we have dick and pussy jokes and just like dildos flying all throughout comedy movies nowadays. That if anything, you got to be more obscene to actually get comedy going than just do like, oh, we're gonna do a poo poo joke here.
Yeah, I love me some poo poo jokes. Like, don't get me wrong.
They're hilarious, but like some of those old movies, are just like, hey, like there's a turd, ha ha ha.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like, man, those things. I hope that they kind of stop. I mean, I know, like the last particular show that I watched that really went too crazy with those is Workaholics. That shit was like all poo poo and sex jokes, like to a degree that reminded me of like the fucking middle of like the 2000s. Like it's pretty bad. And granted, yeah, that's when that show first came out and everything. But eesh, anytime Anne Devine's in something, it's pretty ridiculous. What are you saying?
Not to mention that's our movie here that we're reviewing actually came out there around that time too.
Yeah, man, good old middle of 2000. This is 2006. This fucking movie. But yeah, I think and normally I would go around and like talk about some more stuff. I know Corey and them are going to be starting soon, so we can actually get right into this pretty much right away, man. But yeah.
And may the Swartz be with you, Edward. Even though that movie has gone downhill for me.
But yeah, it's been 15 years since this has come out. But while looking at some cinematic birthdays that are coming out, I came across this 2006 movie. And yeah, it's Stay Alive, as we said earlier. And I gotta say, I actually watched this back in the day with an authentic theatrical experience. Because I was fucking hyped, dude. Like, I was playing Resident Evil and Silent Hill at the time. And tons of shit, dude. I was ready for this shit.
Was that kid that went to go see those bad horror movies that like lasted maybe a week or two in theaters before they went to DVD?
Yeah, dude, I was so like, man. And by the way, like, I was so into these kind of movies that I even lied to myself and said Silent Hill was the shit and Resident Evil 2 was fucking great.
Just no, you lied to yourself about Silent Hill the first one. Silent Hill the first one is redeemable. Now the other movie you mentioned.
What, the Resident Evil 2?
Yeah, that was just fun. If you like the game and you want to see the set pieces in real life, take yourself out of a fan base. That shit is dumb.
Yeah, it's really bad. Thank you for them bits, by the way. You might say, I'll say this really quick. It says, hey, Diaz, there was a pay-per-view back in 1986 called Wrestle Rock, and the Wrestle Rock Rumble. You actually didn't even say it right there, sir, but I remember that shit. That's how nerdy I am. That music video was fucking terrible. I've seen it many a times. People, old white people fucking rapping. It's all, and this is 80s rap, by the way, too, so these guys are really trying to be like, oh, yeah, gonna get the Wrestle Rock Rumble? I'm gonna get you with the...
That's the age of Will Smith tough rap. Oh,
but it was worse, man. Think about rednecks doing that shit. Just fucking, it's awful. It's the worst thing ever, guys. Don't watch that shit, but at the same time, watch that shit because actually you should watch it and send it over to Corey, and he'll. Oh, this is why I hate wrestling because it's never changed since then. The whole fucking thing.
Yeah, but Captain America's still fighting the rest goals in '72, but that's okay.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't mess with minority stuff. No,
that's like motherfuckers get mad at me. Oh, you like another fucking Roman movie or a historic movie, bitch? How many times are they gonna remake Batman?
Exactly. Yeah, some fake shit too. But then again, hey, my shit's fake too. It's all good. And who knows?
Some of those historical movies be fake as fuck.
Yeah, so it is what it is. I understand it. But moving on from that into this thing over here, I'm not gonna play around and try to keep people in the dark about what I thought of the movie, or at least the quality of the movie. For me, I didn't like this back in the day. I liked the concept, and I like the ideology of like a video game having the same effects on a body count like Freddy Krueger did back in the day. Like, you die in your dream, you die in real life. So in this, you die in the game, you die in real life. And I thought that was an interesting concept done by people that shouldn't have been done by. Because the people that actually made this movie are people that weren't doing fucking anything at the time and since have not really done a whole lot. The movie's director and writer is William Brent Bill. He's the guy that was behind The Boy that came out, I think, in like 2016, which we're probably going to talk about that soon too. But had a terrible fucking sequel called Brahms the Boy or whatever. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah, because I could have sworn Roxy has watched it, or at least.
No, you have to ask Roxy. Miss Roxy over here is the complete expert when it comes to all these kind of movies. I don't know shit.
Yeah, but do you remember this at all, Roxy? The Boy, and then The Boy 2, or Brahms the Boy, whatever the fuck that stupid shit was?
I tried to sit through the second, The Boy movie. I couldn't fucking do it. I fucking knocked out. But the first one I remember vividly. I still don't understand the fucking ending, but I mean, sure, go off.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it in general. Like, even the first one, because I forgot which one had Lauren Cohan. I could have sworn that was the second one, but it could have been the first one. Either way, though, that was weird. And then when somebody said in the chat there, I think it was Chris Ayers and Mauricio, but they're talking about the devil inside, which is probably the only devil possession movie that didn't scare me. And I'm scared to fuck with possession movies or devil movies or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, these came out long after Stay Alive, and the only thing that this dude worked on before Stay Alive was a movie called Sparkle and Charm. And it was a dramedy about some mid-20s dude moving to Las Vegas to sell RVs. So, like, I have no idea why this dude was the heart and soul of the making of Stay Alive. But instantly, I'm looking at something like this, especially with this particular guy, and I'm in my own head, like, I want this to be remade. I want this to be a TV series. I want someone else to fucking make this, do a complete reboot of this. But yeah, like, I don't know, Roxy, I'll start off with you. You like horror movies in your old school games. Did this feed any of your needs for, like, this kind of movie to satisfy your nerdum at all?
For me, yeah. What drew me in for me personally, I didn't get the luxury, nor was I old enough to go see it in the theater. So this movie I saw like on Time Warner, like Movies on Demand. Remember when you had to pay like $5 a movie and they would give it to you for like 2 days?
Yeah.
That's where I saw this and a bunch of like similar films that had that similar style, like horror vein, like Tamra, which was made in 2005, or The Final, which was made around that same year, 2005, 2006. And I was just fucking hooked watching all these. I was interested in the concept. I was interested in seeing like how exactly this would go as well. Because I don't know about y'all, but me growing up, anything that had to do with like horror movies or like creepypastas, if y'all remember those.
Oh yeah.
Or like there was a website called like scaryforkids.com where I would just be constantly looking into like folk tales and real life ghost stories. So for it to tackle the topic of Elizabeth Bathory and video games, I was fucking sold.
Well, they even got that shit wrong because in a movie they say like she died in 19 something. I'm like, no, didn't she die in 16, 17 or something like that? It's been like she would have been dead for 400 years, but they don't say that in this movie. You know what I mean?
She died like way fucking back in the day, but I thought it was pretty cool that they like, well, they got the part where she actually did kill a bunch of young women, right, and bathe in their blood.
Yeah.
So they got that.
Yeah.
But this definitely was a fun movie for me.
And it's touching on something that many people don't do because that lady, and I wrote her name in my notes, and I'll get to that in a little bit because we're going to talk about that a lot. But, like, I think that, like, they're able to touch on certain things that not a lot of movies were doing at the time. Kind of like, because I was actually hyped when James Wan did the Curse of La Leona because you've only seen a couple of things do that before, especially back, like, in, his A&E documentary specials or whatever. But there's never been, like, a main movie. And now they're touching on it. I'm like, oh, shit. But then, like, a year after, it was, like, 2018 or something, now there's a bunch of La Leona stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, what the fuck? Like, you guys kind of ruined these characters because you overexpose them, and now I don't know what fucking, like, story is true. And Stay Alive played it smart, where they talked about a character that no one really touches on, and it was really interesting to see that happen. But Ganja, same question to you, dude. You being a fan of Resident Evil and everything back in the day, did this satisfy any of your gaming or horror needs as far as being a nerd for this shit?
Actually, I texted you in the Hangouts when I started watching this, and I was like, man, what kind of fucking House of the Dead graphics bullshit am I watching? Like, I was waiting for the light gun to show up at some point and just start blasting them with little flashes of light. One of the things that kind of threw me out of it a little bit, because you asked me about the game stuff, so I'm going to kind of critique that, because, I like my video games. I don't go too hard on that, because like Alan's our professional here, but I do enjoy my video games enough that I could beat him at a quiz. And boy, when I saw the Flash come out, the fucking crossbow, I knew I was in for some early 2000 video game movies, because this is back when it was like producers, writers, and directors that may play a little bit of video games, but overall they think it's some kid shit. Mm-hmm. So they don't care to get the nuances of it. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the stupidest fucking shit. And right down to like they used the trope cheating.
Yeah, which I thought that was pretty funny too. And really quick, I want to talk about that as well, just the video game aspect of this, because the thing I like about the game, and yes, I know we're talking about the movie and everything, but one of the things you had to do to make this feel authentic is to bring the perspective of gameplay so that the aspect of the movie and premise can come across authentically and not feel like some kind of corporate marketing bullshit, So they bring up Fatal Frame like pretty much instantly in the movie, and then when we get into a certain like angles in the movie, you can tell that they're actually using Fatal Frame's camera angle. And believe it or not, like this movie was actually based on Fatal Frame. This was originally supposed to be that, and many people don't know that. And you can fact check me in the chat if you guys want to. But I've read that in Fangoria. I remember seeing interviews of this. Eli Roth brought this up in one of the things that he was talking about. And another funny thing about this too is that Fatal Frame's original name in Japan is ReZero, which is hilarious because right now there's this anime that's out. I think it's like on season 2 or whatever. But ReZero is fucking huge, and everybody's talking about it. So I was like, oh shit, yeah, like this is technically ReZero, so it's really weird those things are kind of connecting there. And yeah, to Ganja's point, he sent me that message right before we watched this, and he goes, wow, man, these House of the Dead ass graphics, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, dude, you have no idea how fucking right in the money that you were. That staircase in the mansion in the beginning is 100% a redo of House of the Dead. Sega, they had to actually go to Sega and improve it, dude. So you were 100% right on the fucking money. And on top of them approving that, they actually had to approve the third-party Sega controller at the end of the movie for PS2.
Wait, that third-party Sega controller?
Yeah, that because Sega was already done. So what they did is they had that Dreamcast version controller. Basically they kept the name Dreamcast and sold third-party accessories for other consoles. So they're playing on PS2 essentially throughout the entire movie. And yeah, they fucking have the controller at the very end of the movie, and they actually make it seem like, ooh, like this is gonna lead to a sequel, Stay Alive 2, Electric Boogaloo, whatever the fuck that's going on. But they zoom in on the controller, guys, and it's just funny that like, yeah, they thought they were trendsetters with this fucking movie because the funniest thing about the movie is the confidence of the movie. Like one of the actors actually worked on this movie instead of Dead or Alive that came out the same year, and this was Hollywood Pictures' first movie in like half a decade. So they came out of obscurity to finance this movie because they must have thought this is gonna be some big shit. And then yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. By the way, I'm hearing some bling bling bling. Thank you very much for sharing the Facebook stream there, Max Conde. Really appreciate the same thing with you, Gary, and everybody else that's supporting us. And I am reading the chat and everything too. I'll probably talk to you guys a little bit more as we continue on the review and everything. But yeah, it's funny, Gandra. Like I don't really consider you a guy who's like super into gaming, and yet your eyes could just see all the gaming bullshit here that they're ripping off of other people.
Hey, because this was the generation that I was playing video games hard. Like, you know, Alan may be the quote unquote professional gamer, but that's because he kept up with it for like the last other 2 decades that's been going on. I dropped off around like 2008 because I wanted to run the streets and be like, quote unquote, do hood rat shit with my friends. You can't really do that on Sega. But yeah, this is like the fucking height of my video game playing right here. Like, right, the first generation of the Xbox 360 and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So, like, I remember all these graphics. I remember playing these in the arcades all the time. There's a reason we share a lot of like nostalgia for the first PS1 and Nintendo 64 eras because these games were my shit. PlayStation 2 spent many a fucking nights just gaming for no reason, playing like discount games like fucking Harry Potter and flying off on the broom and trying to play like a soccer version of Harry Potter and shit.
So really quick, I want to reiterate a couple things for people to know because I do want to let people know who we are outside of just being like these guys.
No, I didn't want to be Casanova. I want to be Smokey.
Oh, stupid ass. But on top of that, though, what I was going to say was like, you know, I do want to reiterate just kind of who we are so you guys understand where the perspectives are coming from. So I know I've asked Roxy on the show this question before, but Roxy, why don't you tell people just like where your video game knowledge was back in like 2006? Like, were you playing were you playing horror games around this time, or were you still like on the Intellivision and Coleco and shit like that?
I was still on like the old school stuff, but at the same time, like I started to go more into like bootleg games, or back when I had like my Android phone, I would download emulators and I would play like off of those. Because for us, like the most modern thing we had, at least now, but back in the day when I used to like be at my old place, the most modern thing I had was a SNES. Yeah. That's it. Everything else was either like the most modern thing I would play would be like the video games that you saw at like the movie theaters, like House of the Dead or some of like the shooting games that you had there. That'd be like the most modern thing I played. Or whenever I go to like cousin's house and stuff like that. But you're good. My realm is just basically like old school shit.
Yeah. Oh, Porno Crusade, thank you for following, dude. Really appreciate that, considering all the history that you and I have. That's there. But Cam H in the chat says, "Oh my God, did anybody wait till the end with the movie and the creepy voice?" Actually, I didn't. But I remember someone sent me something from the movie, and I can't remember if that was it, but it scared the fuck out of me. And there's a couple of things they do with the sound, and they're not even jump scares, but like there's an atmosphere with this movie that really did kind of give me the creeps. Roxy, did that do that for you at all or no?
Certain moments in the film that made me feel creeped out?
Yeah.
For me, can I talk about like certain scenes in the movie?
Sure, absolutely.
For me, what made me uncomfortable was when Frankie Muniz fell in the rose bush.
Wait, fell in the rose bush? I'm trying to think, like, maybe because the movie was running fast for me. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh shit, a bunch of things going on, like lots of these weird death scenes and whatnot. But I'm surprised that scared you, because like for me, that didn't scare me at all. And I'm almost like, did I miss something?
It made me feel uncomfortable because I was just thinking, like, imagine like you're frustrated, your adrenaline's pumping, like you're trying to escape this thing. And then you just fall into a rose bush, and then you start feeling all the pricks and stabs from like all the thorns in the bush, and then you're uncomfortable. You're trying to move away, but those thorns are holding you back. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
That's what got me.
Yeah, what you call it? They're saying Nightbreed has some of the coolest looking monsters. Oh, okay, yeah, I wasn't even. I'm sorry. And by the way, too, someone was actually posting Divine Miss Klein was typing some shit, so I had to like get rid of her. And I don't know how to fucking mod, guys. Twitch changes this shit so much. So sorry if I seem a little fucking distracted. But yeah, I'm surprised that actually affected you. But I mean, I can kind of see it too. How about you, Ganja? Do you agree with her on that?
To a certain extent.
Yeah, because I mean, there's moments in here that are creepy like that. I mean, I will say that the hanging scene in the very beginning was pretty cool, and that's the biggest thing about this too is that this is basically PG-13, so they kind of went pretty far considering that it's PG-13.
I think personally the creepiest scene for me was the scene where she's stuck in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it flashes in and out, and so basically you're in a scene where she's trying to survive, and then she's just flashing a little like not a flashlight but a lighter, and throughout every moment there's another scare that's occurring. So like the first one she lights it, there's like bugs all over her. The second one is like a spooky ghost woman behind her, and the third one is finally leads up to like the big bad ghost.
Yeah, and that's the blood countess, by the way, if you guys are wondering or whatever. But yeah, and that's the thing that I guess I've noticed about just this review in general is that we didn't really talk about, what the movie even is about. But I think you guys could pretty much fucking tell. The synopsis of the movie basically just revolves around a group of friends that are playing this video game called Stay Alive. And once one of the friends actually dies in the game, everyone seems to get together to hang out to basically comfort each other because, I mean, in real life, let's just say Alan dies or something like that happened. We would all probably hang out just to kind of comfort each other, right? Like, you're like, oh man, like, I remember the good old times. This guy was fucking awesome. Like, whatever. Or he used to argue a shit ton. But
remember when he tworked on the cat attack? That shit was great.
yeah. And great was not it's not a word I would fucking use, but it definitely happened. But I'm just thinking about that, and it's like, yeah. So I like that part of it because that's probably what we would do, so it's authentic. But yeah, how they're doing that shit. It seems like everything's gonna be okay, like most horror movies are. But somehow the game is haunted or enchanted or something with the power of an ancient noble woman. I guess she's known as the Blood Countess, as I said earlier. But she's murking these motherfuckers constantly. And the thing that I don't like about the movie is like it takes a while for them to take the villain seriously. Like the first time when it happens, and the guy dies from hanging himself, and then he gets hung in the game or whatever. It's like, okay, dude, like. That's already kind of crazy because it happens simultaneously, as well as the fact that it's like we don't know anything about this character enough to know that he would be fucking like wanting to kill himself. That's not his character or whatever. He didn't have any issues going on. But actually, the second or third ones, and they're still debating whether or not there's something wrong with the game. Did that piss you off at all, Roxy? Where it's like, come on, characters, like be fucking smart.
A little bit, yeah, but I appreciate the fact that they didn't do like really, really, like I really hated this trope in the early 2000s when it came to movies, but it kind of gave me a little bit of a tie back to like the 80s where it was like, hey, if you do sex, like that's bad, you're gonna die. If you do drugs or drink alcohol, you're gonna fucking die. And they start making like stupid ass decisions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of movies in the early 2000s and still some to this day continue to make those fucking like stupid ass moves, but I'm glad they at least had like some kind of realistic like reaction to it, like the scene where Frankie Muniz is like playing out of his van, and then all of a sudden like the Blood Countess starts like hanging around his van and shit, even though he's following all the rules.
Yeah,
you'd be pretty upset too. And then if you're stuck in just the logic that like, oh, if you die in the game then you die for real, you'd be fucking pissed if you're playing by the rules and all of a sudden this fucking black shadow just like comes over you and you see a bitch in a red dress trying to kill you. I'd be fucking mad too.
Yeah, because he loses his shit. And by the way, I was so thrown off that it was the kid from Malcolm in the Middle. I was like, okay, that's fucking crazy. But his reaction was just like, you're fucking cheating. It's like that. I think that any of us would react the same way.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Do you feel like that made it a little like, I guess I would say like too jokey or something? The fact that it's almost like a third wall break where he's just like, you're fucking cheating. Like, did that kind of make things like, you just took the balls off of this right now?
A little bit, yeah, because it is pretty fucking cheesy, but realistically, like, how much of us would have, like, the perfect scripted reaction, or, like, the perfect reaction that, like, fits exactly within that moment?
Dude, that's
like,
actually...
I'm pretty sure most of us would be like, yo, what the fuck? We're not gonna be eloquent about it.
Exactly. But Gonja, I didn't get your thoughts on that while I answer my old school, timey 1990s fucking phone here. I'll be right back.
When it comes to me, because I kind of want to like divert a little bit, because one of the things I want to really talk about this is the horror aspect is very dated, but it did kind of give me a little bit of nostalgia for it. Like all the like quick cuts, like the jump effects they did. You don't really see that too much when you see modern films now, because it became such a stereotype that around 2012 to like 2016, a lot of movies were trying to move away from that. And the ones that are still doing it, like with supernatural movies, I forget what the fuck series was called. The one with the cameras everywhere.
Oh, Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, everyone tried to be Paranormal Activity, so everything became jump scares. Yeah. So of course they had to mix it up. But this is like the golden age of that. So just to see it being done, I kind of really appreciate it. And one aspect that I really enjoyed, and I talked to Nick about this is still the era where you have like Hollywood dominated by a lot of like adults that grew up more in the 60s and late 70s than actually were kids in either the 80s or the 90s. So when they started playing video games, you can tell like it was like a lot of the rules and stuff were made by executive heads or writers that didn't really know the subject too well. Yeah, they might play casual video games because, as we know, it was the time that everyone was starting to play video games. Even if you were already in your 30s, you at least tried them out. Hell, I had an uncle that was in his 50s that was playing Resident Evil with me. So there was a generation that was trying to give it a shot, but they didn't come up with it like us. So they just had like the most like surface level knowledge of the shit. For example, like I brought up the whole idea of like, oh, when you shoot the crossbow and arrow, there's a flash muzzle. Or like the idea that there's cheating in the video game. Because what's the one thing everyone talks about when they play games? Oh, cheaters suck. I hate cheaters. They added a cheating sequence into that. Not to mention they added the whole idea of like the 3D graphics and like the try to get you into like, oh, this is what she's like when you play your PlayStation 2. And let's be honest, the graphics back then they could do with pretty much any kind of CGI. So it's not like PlayStation 2 was like making like realistic human models from the fucking copy. So if you get mad at the graphics here, you can't really play nostalgic video games then, I would assume, just from that opinion.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, because for me, like, those things are kind of cool, even if they tried to bring them up. Because, like, yeah, you have a point in the sense of like you could have done better with this. Plus, too, that we don't need so many things explained to us. Like, hey, in case you're not a gamer, this is how that works. It's like, for one, anyone watching this fucking movie is a gamer. So let's, read the fucking room correctly, please. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, like for me, back in the day, I don't know what it was. There's parts of it that I did enjoy, but overall, I didn't like it. But watching this movie again, dude. I'm not a fan of the pacing. I feel like some of the characters are pretty boring and only serve the purpose of moving things along. But I will say that for a movie that was shot in 25 days and was only about like, I forgot how much. I think it was like 80 minutes or an hour. It wasn't an hour and a half. I know for sure it was less than an hour and a half. Do you remember what it was, Ganja, or no?
No, I don't. That's whew.
But it was quick,
I want to say like around there, yeah, like 90 minutes, 80 minutes, maybe 75. I don't know.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
That shit's important to me, though. Like, the fact that, it's probably a little bit less than an hour and a half, I think that, yeah, it's a very snackable movie that I feel like I can't get too mad at. Like, graphically, it looks terrible, but think about it back then. Shit probably didn't look so ridiculous when you watched it back in 2006. Jump scares aren't too insane here. And to the movie's credit, shit is actually happening. Like, what'd you feel about that? Did you feel like this movie was always moving along and being busy, Roxy, or did you feel like, this is starting to become a little bit of a slog?
I honestly forgot like how quickly they jumped to like, when the one dude finds out like, holy shit, there's got to be some kind of coincidence here. I'm surprised that they jumped into it so early because usually they're like, oh no, what do we do? Like in Freddy movies, they tend to do that as well as others, but it's just like, oh my god, what's going on? These people keep dying. It's so strange. They jumped into it like after 2 or 3 deaths. Yeah. They're like, hey, there's got to be some kind of connection here. So It did feel a little rushed, but I can't be too mad at it.
How about you, Ganja? Oh, sorry.
It's a nice little movie to pass the time.
No, I agree with the same sentiments. It's a popcorn film. It's fun. You're gonna enjoy the time you have. I don't think it's like gonna really just make you mad because it's just fun at the end of the day. And one thing that kind of fucked me up a little bit was seeing Frankie Muniz. One of the things that, if you guys don't know, his character in Malcolm in the Middle was like this really smart kid. But he was like socially awkward and he was kind of an asshole. He kind of played. He's not asshole in this movie. He's more of like a socially awkward nice kid. So just like trying to really get there and like, oh boy, I want to really socialize, but I'm a massive nerd when it comes to it. I can't really tell you what disability he has because let's be honest, they didn't fucking know what they were doing back then with disabilities either. So I can just tell you that much. He has a disability. He's a little shy and a little socially awkward. But the character is more similar to like the Malcolm in the Middle smart moments, where he just starts breaking down moments like, yeah, this is just broken down. And like, you think about this history. It goes back to this voodoo priest. They used to kill women to try to make the blood and all this shit. And I was happy to see Frankie Muniz do this again, but I also felt sad because if you know what he's going through now, especially when I think he had a brain injury or something that occurred, and he's not doing so well when it comes to like the motor functions and memory department. Mm-hmm. So whenever you see him in interviews now, he's much slower and he doesn't have the energy he used to. So just to see him as like kind of like a young adult again, it sucked. I'll be honest, it sucked because he doesn't even remember half the stuff from like the early 2000s.
Yeah, that is a really fucking dark, sad situation there. Maybe that even adds like a layer of watchability with this. Not to say that people want to watch things that are connected with bad shit that's going on, but like at the same time, I'm pretty sure DMX's numbers on fucking music videos and shit's going up right now. So maybe this is people don't have a lot of reasons to watch this fucking movie, but maybe you got some now. I don't know. Because yeah, like that it does suck, dude. Like not to laugh about, but I'm just like I'm uncomfortable with the idea that there's so much darkness happening with Frankie Muniz. It's fucked up, man. But moving on, I guess, and here's the biggest thing here. Is just like, we can talk about this movie in a scene-by-scene type of way, but I just kind of want to wrap things up and essentially give my rating where, hey, like the acting is bad, not too bad. It's a fast movie because its overall runtime is squeezing the movie into like a Lunchables fucking box. Its score is PG-13, and the furthest you can go to that rating is honestly, it was supposed to be an R rating, and in the director's cut, it actually is an R rating, and inside the director's cut, they only add like 15 minutes worth of stuff, so it's not one of these situations. I'm not even gonna name what the fuck I'm talking about, but y'all should know. It's not doing one of those things where it's like, hey, we're gonna make this, twice as long, so we can accomplish a feat that we should have done with the fucking original. They're like, no, you have a PG-13 version, and you got the director's cut that's actually a different rating, so you actually get a different type of movie, and that's what's happening here. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's a movie and it's a game. It's it created lore, but wrapped things up not to hold back on reveals or explanations. But yeah, it is garbage. But they tried. They really, really tried.
It's fun garbage.
Yeah, it's like I said, man. Not everything has to be this big cinematic fucking whatever. So for me, it's a 2 out of 5. I can't recommend this, but something was accomplished here, and no one has had the balls to go and do something that's like this. They tried something here. And they didn't have the budget or the backing or whatever the fuck they had to do to even try, but they still tried. And that's what you should want with fucking movies, guys. That's fucking art at the end of the day. Not to sound like fucking Julian Emmendinger, but it's like, dude, like, for me, it's like, things can be art when they actually are art. Don't fucking watch Batman v Superman. Oh, that's art. No, it's not. It's fucking marketing, and you fucking bit the teat of the corporate fucking team swindling your fucking brain around. Like, this is actually something I tried, and there's shit that comes out nowadays that tries, and no one talks about them. So, Stay Alive, 2 out of 5 for me. Yeah, I don't recommend it, but it's different. So there you go. Ganja, how about you, bro?
I'm gonna give it the same rating as you. I think, but I'm gonna give it a little more leeway just because of the Frankie Muniz nostalgia. But it's essentially the same thing. Like it's a fun movie. Like if you hate on this, it doesn't do anything too dumb, and it's just a fun little horror popcorn flick. Again, if you hate on this, I don't know what you really wanted. I was like getting mad when you see like a really bad movie. You're like, oh man, this movie's fucking bad. Like yeah, it's a bad movie. What the fuck do you expect?
Yeah. Shouldn't hold everything to a crazy degree, but I'm gonna leave the main event rating for Roxy because Ganja agrees with me. We got 2 out of 5s here. Roxy, you get the last word. What's your rating and any last comments you want to say about it?
Well, I do want to give one comment that I do feel like touching on Blaze and Michael's comment about they should like remake this or update it. I feel like this is right up like Sci-Fi's alley.
Oh yeah.
For them to make. Not exactly like beat by beat, but maybe they could possibly tie in like, okay, one episode will be Elizabeth Bathory, another episode will be like the slit mouth woman, and another episode could be like, I don't know, the Mothman or something.
You know what? To add on to your idea, babe, because this actually sounds like a good idea. Because how many of these like horror games now that are coming out that are just like, oh, get 5 of your buddies together and try to survive against this AI or this other character that's trying to kill you? Like, imagine playing on that, like where the guy that is actually the villain that's in the multiplayer session kills the people he kills in the sessions.
Yeah, I would like something like that too. One thing too that they didn't really do much. Everyone's playing, but they don't show like how the multiplayer works. It's like just one big TV, and I was like, okay, that's silly. Like I want to see how it looks from a different point of view, but it was whatever. But Roxy, do you feel like this would work for Shudder?
I think so. They actually did something kind of similar to this. I found out recently on TikTok that there was this thing. I think it was called like Channel Zero.
Oh, I love that shit.
Like that.
Yes.
Where they made every single episode based off a creepypasta.
Mm-hmm.
And creepypastas were my fucking shit growing up. I don't know how y'all feel, but anything that was creepy, I was down. And I read like all of these stories, the horrible mainstream ones that everyone knows, like Jeff the Killer and like fucking something Jack. He's like black and white and like kills you wherever.
I think
I'm interested in that. I do want to see the Channel Zero like episodes.
Yeah. By the way, I would love to like go in a call and we all watch Channel Zero. That'd be the shit. I love that shit. I've seen a little bit of season 4. I know it's like an anthology type series or whatever, so I don't know what connects to what, whatever. And I'm down to just watch the whole fucking thing all over again. Mauricio's saying, "Have you guys seen The Empty Man?" That's based off a creepypasta I saw and I thought it was good. I have not seen The Empty Man, but I really want to watch it. Donkey Kong, the great soul of something. He says until he started to ruin it. Also, Laughing Jack. Oh, that's the person you're talking about. Roxy.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me it was the Laughing Jack. You know what story like creeped me out though from the creepypastas? It was still pretty mainstream, but just the concept of it is just creepy. Just it was called The Smiling Man. So you're just walking down the street like late at night for whatever reason, coming back from like a bar or a movie or whatever. And then you see this guy like creepily dancing in the street. You laugh at it, but you don't want to look at him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he just stops and like turns around and starts to chase you.
Ooh, fuck
That shit's fucking creepy to me. But in terms of like my rating for this movie, it's a 2 out of 5. I'm not mad at it. Like it's still, it's there. It serves its purpose for what it's there for. It's not that impressive. It's still enjoyable. You can still laugh at it. But you know, if you want to just have a quick little thing to have like the time pass by and just geek out a little bit, throw on a little bit of nostalgia and pop this in.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I'm glad we watched this, to be honest, because yeah, like I wasn't gonna have any other reasons to watch it, and it's just crazy that it's been 15 years since this fucking thing came out. Like I am old as shit. What you call it, the Donkey, the Great. So I wish I could read your whole name, dude. I'm apologize for that, but he says, if you ever read Ben Drowned? Have you read that?
Yep, that was a very, very popular one that went around. It was basically, from what I can remember, it was like an altered story or a creepy story behind a cursed copy of Majora's Mask.
What the fuck? That sounds fucking great. Dude, the Majora's Mask in general, that story is so fucking good. Like, if someone could just rip that off and take off all the, like, licensing for Nintendo, Zelda, whatever the fuck. Oh boy, like, that shit's amazing.
There's a bunch of them out there, Diaz. Well, not strictly about Legend of Zelda, but they had one for Pokemon, like Pokemon Lavender Town, and they had one called like Squidward Suicide.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that scared me.
What?
And they made a reference to it in a later episode.
Or like, there was one about an episode of Arthur with the number one trope that they loved to use in these fucking stories was, oh my god, they had hyper realistic eyes that cried blood, and then they'd have like really crappy like Photoshop images done.
Oh Jesus!
Some of them were pretty effective though. Like in the more modern episodes of SpongeBob, they actually did touch on Squidward suicide. Like there's a clip of it where I guess SpongeBob and Squidward and Patrick are going through like a bunch of different TVs or TV channels or whatever. And then one of the TVs had Squidward with the hyper realistic bloody eyes in it.
What the
fuck? So they know this shit exists.
That's actually pretty amazing. The fact that they'll even be willing to kind of throw some, I don't know, some respect on its name. I don't know what the fuck. JJ Pan says, have you all heard about the new Crow 64 creepypasta? I do not, but like, you mean like Crow as in like Eric's Raven Crow? Like, you know, the Crow, there's 5 movies, the Crow? Like, because, dude, those comics, by the way, actually were pretty crazy. And they never actually went that route because of all the shit that happened with Brandon Lee and blah, blah, blah. But, like, dude, yeah, I love The Crow. I love the whole universe of The Crow. Like, you know, it's probably some silly shit considering, like, I love my wife so much that I came back from the dead. You know, like, I'm a Kung Fu zombie. But, you know, I fucking love The Crow. Actually, by the way, because that came out in 1996, we might talk about that soon. Maybe not 96. I don't know. I could be wrong. But, Roxy, have you ever seen The Crow?
Rip. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace indeed. But still, like, you could know about him dying without seeing it. Oh, you seen it? Okay, damn it. I was going to say, like, yo, you should watch it because...
But it's been a minute since I've seen it. Okay. So I don't exactly remember all of it. So if you still, you know, if you're still down and you want to watch it, I'm cool.
Nice. Okay, we might end up doing that shit. Because I know Jen hasn't seen The Crow. Or maybe she has. I get people fucking...
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay.
I have never seen The Crow. I'll be honest with you.
That movie is incredible. Yeah, dude, you got that song by The Cure playing. You know, whatever the fuck. I don't know the words. Okay, I'm sorry. If you guys know that song "Burned" by The Cure, that part you know what part I'm trying to do. I don't know the words, but he's like,
I'm thinking about all these like old school games and like movies now. Like I just my brain just had a flashback to one of the House of the Dead movies.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I think it was called Rave to the Grave.
Oh, fucking that movie sucks.
Was that the one where they were all on the island and there was an Asian chick named Liberty and for some
Yes.
reason she had like a fucking America jumpsuit.
That was
jumpsuit-
House of the Dead.
That jumpsuit fucking appeared in the back of my brain and now I can't get it out.
Dude, that scene was so stupid when they're shooting everyone in the gravesite and like they're playing.
I
music.
loved
They're trying to.
No,
copy,
it's
like,
not even
Blade.
that. Oh, I forgot. I think it was it T-Rex song?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Oh no, it was Mystical. Lose My Mind. Up in here. That movie got sold on that
DMX.
fucking segment.
Yeah, that's actually DMX. I like how you got Mystical and DMX messed up.
No,
Hey man,
I
they
watched
both yell at
all-
me and tell me to be rough.
I watched all of these fucking movies on Sci-Fi, like back in the day when they had like their horror movie like montages and marathons. I was fucking on that shit.
Oh man, those things are so fucking terrible. Mauricio, get better, DMX. Oh, okay, like you mean get better as in okay? I thought he was like get better.
And
That
we
song
hope
sucks.
he doesn't die, because things are looking pretty grim.
Well, he did come back though. Apparently, they had a vigil or a prayer vigil, whatever the fuck it was. But like they went over there and they were just like hum 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 hum, and then he got up and shit.
What?
So it's like I don't know, got a life bar or
The fuck?
something. No, like for
Came
real.
back to life with my dick in my hand.
No, it's actually kind of amazing to be honest. But like yeah, they actually had people go in there and do a prayer, like a big. It's vigil or something. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce the word. but-
Vigil.
Vigil. Okay, so yeah, I did it right. But like no, they went in there and they did a prayer, and I swear to God, like that same day he like was able to breathe on his own and shit. But I keep hearing
What the
conflicting
fuck?
things.
True.
Like, what's up with that, by the way? Like, so is there somebody in there, like, trolling? Because, like, every day his situation changes. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but, like, nothing seems like it's true.
The very, very last thing I heard in regards to DMX and his health situation was that he was on life support and basically brain dead.
Ugh, God, it sucks.
That was the last thing I saw. I don't know how true it is. I don't know what anyone else has been seeing. But I also saw something about, like, oh, DMX is, like, a really good pastor or preacher or something now. That he was doing, like, something off of Instagram or something off a website where he was having, like how you mentioned, like, vigils or, like, prayer circle or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't know
So
what the fuck's going on.
I don't know what his status is at this point.
But the thing is, though, is, like, the idea that, like, who's a good preacher? It's like, of course he is. Over there yelling all the fucking time. Like, you get my ass to pay attention. I'm not going to be playing my Game
Praise
Boy.
Jesus.
Like, hey, you're here disrespecting God. We're playing with the Game Boy Color. Like, okay, yes.
Can you fucking bark again?
You are the hardest motherfucker in podcasting, Diaz.
I was like,
No.
motherfucker! Say, just fucking yelling in church.
Put the cookie down.
I mean, it's better. He's better than my fucking Godzilla.
Yeah, your Godzilla was like, I don't know. What the
Yeah, I
fuck's
did that
going
for
on.
the review, and it was fucking horrible. I tried.
Oh my god, no.
I straight up went into the mic. I was like, I'm gonna do it. Diaz, ready? You ready?
No, you sound like one of the fucking sound effects off of Kung Fu Hustle.
No, I sound like one of those Godzillas when you get a fucking one with the toy like batteries running out, so the sound is just trying.
So you mean like the Psyduck I got you for your birthday?
Hey, Psyduck sounds clean. I just gotta smack his ass to get to work, and I don't think that's appropriate.
I just find it funny that Godzilla, like, at the end of all of his yells, not just roar, like, whatever. He's like, at the end. Like, imagine, like, if that was an he goes, like, motherfucker! Bitch.
Motherfucking chainsaw.
What? Oh, that's fucking great. Anyways, guys, we're gonna get the fuck out of here, though. We've been talking about Stay Alive for a bit here, and I don't really have any topics because I was focusing on the movie and I just had a lot of shit to do for Corey. I was gonna say doo-doo, like I had a lot of shit to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, head of your doodoo.
But really quick, I almost don't want to do this, but Ganja Guru, tell them where to find you, man.
You can find me over the Illuminati Podcast on the Metropolis Eclectic on Facebook.
Ooh.
I think we're on Spotify now. I think we're going to be on Tidal soon enough when maybe we get a deal with Jay-Z. So go check us out. We do podcasting about politics, cultural stuff, and all kinds of good shit, isn't it? We're going to have a little small bite coming up for you this coming week. I just got to make sure Alan would edit it. Check out our audio podcast on there as well. You got the Sports Podcast with Cedric Little Shoes Jr., you got the new podcast with the two Jennies. They break down K-pop, like that K-pop shit. They got that shit in spades. Go enjoy that shit, as well as many others that I can't remember because I haven't hung out with them.
That's very bad. Anyways, guys, we are out of here. We're gonna raid Mr. Juicy. That's what we're doing today on this wonderful evening. If I can remember how to write his fucking name over here, I think I did it. Yes, I did. Oh, what a good Diaz! Yay! Anyways, goodbye. Stay toasty, and chat the chat, and we'll see you guys when it's time to see. Goodbye, everybody.